So we handed out 33 surveys. We got 31 surveys back. There was nothing major that happened when we did the survey that would have influenced them. We had a cover sheet with instructions. There's the demographic data. We had 16 students respond, 8 tutors, and 7 staff members. As you can see, almost all of them did great, and by a wide margin. One of the interesting figures was the weekly student goal meetings. 8 of them were not applicable, and 5 of those not applicable came from students, which I think says more about the need for it than the actual degree responses say about it. Because if a student doesn't understand the questions about them for them, and they think it doesn't apply to them, there's something wrong there that we need to fix. So we found out mathematically, this wasn't just a majority vote. We did some math on it. We used the chart value of 3.84. All of these hypotheses came out above the 3.84, which made them all acceptable. So basically, having the student goal meetings, improving tutor training, and focusing on staff development would all increase homework completion rates. The status quo is rejected. Staying the same isn't going to improve homework completion process. So our conclusions, again, implementing weekly student goal meetings would improve homework completion rates. Some of the disadvantages, it's going to increase administrative duties. It could increase administrative hours used on reporting. But the advantages are we'd establish levels of individual accountability. We would actually know if students are improving. We would have hard data. Here was the goal for the week. Did you meet that goal, yes or no? We'd be able to track individual progress and successes, which would lead to increased homework completion rates, which would improve overall academic performance. Again, with the tutors, the disadvantages, there's always a cost. The cost of training is whether or not that cost of training balanced out over future reward, future gains. We could possibly alienate some existing tutors who don't really want to maybe get into the relationship part of it, and we can handle that, but we can find a different role for them. We can structure it so that if they want to be involved, we can still involve them. Some of the advantages, again, better understanding from the tutor the situation and the relationship, really changing the relationship from an adversarial role to a mentorship role. Oftentimes those students do not want to have, they don't want to be tutored. They don't think they need the help. And they don't see the tutor as a resource to be used. Again, better connection with students on a personal level. Finally, focus staff development. The disadvantages, again, fiscal, possibly aiding staff members who resist change. They really require strong central leadership to make difficult decisions on where is the program going, what is the role of the center overall, and what are we going to do about evaluating maybe non-revenue and non-outcome programs. The advantages, all staff knows, understands, and promotes the vision. There's an increased cooperation through internal communication, and all programs point towards academic success. It really comes down to a greater organizational accountability of time and resources. So we came up with 2 main recommendations for the Young Scholar Program. Definitely implement the weekly student goal meetings. Secondly, implement the tutor training program. Create the curriculum, set the date, let everybody know what the expectations are, and go from there. Finally, some follow-up recommendations. The education director would be in charge of making sure that it's implemented and effective. The goal meeting staff member needs to make sure that they're reporting the results and identifies homework completion rates by student and grade level. The tutor training conduct a follow-up study on after the training to see are tutors delivering effective mentorship. That also has a student aspect involved, but if the match isn't good, it's not helping anyway. The tutor's not going to want to be there. The student's not going to want to be there. That's a bad relationship. So understand we're putting a lot of onus on the tutors and the staff, but we need to set up a stable system that's consistent before we go to the outside. Recommendations for further study, obviously missing components to parents. What can the Young Scholar Program do to involve parents in the academic process? It's very important. We've talked about that. And financially secure. If the program is financially secure, would they be able to recruit, hire, and retain talented individuals to really carry the program's goals and focuses out? So finally, summary again, implementing weekly student goal meetings, improving tutor training, and focused staff development would increase homework completion rates in the middle school Young Scholar Program. Thank you. Do you have any questions or concerns? Yes, Christine.
Can you email this to me?
I would be happy to email this to you, yes. Any other questions? I'm open.
Would you be willing to repeat this presentation for other interested parties?
I would be interested, yes. I would definitely be able to do that, yes. Yes,
Do
Christine.
you have some recommendations for maybe if there's an unsuccessful student tutor match and maybe a tutor is not interested in, more in-service or more training? You said there might be some other possibilities. What was the suggestions?
Well, some of the suggestions, we take them out of the one-on-one and make them a resource. For example, I have a great math resource that's really not interested in the one-on-one relationship. But when I make a phone call to find out formula or how to explain a math process, I get them on the phone rather easily. So there's ways that those type of people that can help, but really it goes back to the student has got to believe in the relationship. The student has to believe that the person cares about them. I'm not saying that the student doesn't have responsibility in what we're talking about today. What I'm looking at is what can we do as the Young Scholar Program to provide the structure. And it's still up to the student to do the work. But again, improvement is one person. And if we can get one person on the right track, that's better than what we've been doing. And we've heard it before, you can't save everybody. But you can provide the structure to say, this is an opportunity to be successful. How you handle that resource is yours to choose. And again, that goes back to parents and individual relationships to point them and say, hey, you need to be there. This is helping you. This is going to get you to where you want to go.
And I know this was a research-based presentation, but do you have a narrative, without mentioning names, that kind of supports, do you have a sort of case study of anybody, a story to share that sort of exhibits this theory?
Well, I think, my work here is me. I'm living this on a daily basis, and really it's the structure. I could come up with something more concrete, but right now I do not have something that I'd be willing to share. Anything else? Great, thank you. I see our attendance is going to 10. So,